Okay. Good. For setting up the YouTube page. So, thank you. Welcome to our first session for the final day of our conference, this day 3 of the State of the Map Africa 2023, happening from Cameroon, as well as having a large membership and attendance via the virtual, rather the Zoom sessions. So our first session is going to be done by Enoch Seth. So please, Enoch, when you're ready, just go ahead and take us through your session.
Thank you, Walter, and everybody. Welcome. Good morning to this session. My name is Enoch, and this session, let's find out what this session is about. It's about state of Okay, so we go to a program, and this morning we are talking about here. So we're right here in this other room. So my session is titled, How Do We Map? Creating a reusable OpenStreetMap. Not only the OpenStreetMap data, but we will get to find out. So what is my goal for this session? This session, basically, it's to explore and also to look around and see what is in OpenStreetMap. Most of the times, we all got to introduce to OpenStreetMap based on a certain history. Everyone has their first way or how they came into contact with OpenStreetMap. It could be that it's for a disaster purpose, that you found out that you can sit at your home and click on some images, and then you have a building, and etc. and etc. Or it could be that you needed data about some specific items in a certain location, and you couldn't find it. And a friend told you that, okay, OpenStreetMap is a great source for such kind of data. So without wasting much time, we will start from how a friend got introduced to OpenStreetMap. So this is from two friends. I'm using two friends here as the example. So one of my friends, when I asked, how did you get introduced to OpenStreetMap? They said that, well, they were looking for data for their university project. And then they found out that it was very difficult to find out. So a friend told them that, okay, data is somewhere. And then the other friend said, well, I joined a mapping campaign where I didn't know anything about this project. Yeah, I was completely new. And then, yeah, we got to learn some skills, and that is how come I got to know about OpenStreetMap. Well, these are two different stories, but they have one thing in common, which is OpenStreetMap. When you are in this talk, or if you're watching this now, you have already idea about what OpenStreetMap is. That's where you are joining an OpenStreetMap conference, or you are somehow interested in OpenStreetMap. That's how come you are at this conference. Now, in OpenStreetMap, we talk about a community and the data. I mean, OpenStreetMap is not only in the data, but it's the community around it that is making it. And this community tries to make a documentation or ideas about things that happen in this project on a platform called the OpenStreetMap Wiki. So wiki.osm.org. Maybe I've not typed it well. So if you search in your favorite search engine, the first link that you will come across, it's wiki for wiki.openstreetmap.org. Well, it tells you that welcome to the OpenStreetMap project. Well, I must admit there is a lot of information. There are tons of things happening here. Maybe English is not your primary language. There are several languages here that you can look at, and etc. etc. But there is a quick beginner guide here, which tells you about this is how you can set up. Some other useful links all come around. But in recent years or recently, there is a way or a URL, a platform or a page that the OSM Foundation it's has put together, which is called the welcome material or welcome mat. And this page, it's a one-two if you are introducing somebody to OpenStreetMap to already share or somebody asks what's OpenStreetMap. This gives a quick and brief information about what OpenStreetMap is, of course, and then who is OpenStreetMap? OpenStreetMap is all of us. I mean, several people, not just one person, and where to use OpenStreetMap and etc. Now, so over the years, I am using Ghana as a case study for this session. If you can see here in my presentation, my case, it's Ghana here. Now, when you're contributing to OpenStreetMap, you will definitely come across some observations, both interesting, funny, sometimes not so good. But yeah, OpenStreetMap is welcoming to both new contributors and old contributors. And sometimes we make mistakes, and making mistakes is very good because when you get to know about which mistakes you make, you will learn from it and then you can correct them. So without wasting much time, I will start from what is called organized mapping. But before I start from organized mapping, well, you got to know about OpenStreetMap. You didn't know that there's a community. So maybe there is your house missing on the map. So what do? Maybe you zoom into your village. The regular process is click on the edit here. Maybe you choose ID editor. And then you start to edit, okay? You were told that you take the area here and you can trace around the building, for example, this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. And then finally, maybe, okay, sometimes you are doing like this. This is your first time, is that not it? So we are assuming that this is my first time. And then I map this. But what is this on the ground? What is this feature? In OpenStreetMap, when you add something, you trace a point or you map some lines, you need to first ask the question, what is the primary identification of this item? The primary identification is what is this on the surface of the earth? It's a building, it could be a church, it could be a school, it could be several things come into play here. In OpenStreetMap, the three elements that are used to represent items, the point, the line, and the area, all need to have a basic element. So if I trace this and I just, if somebody's trying to talk or it's by accident, kindly mute yourself. And I try to save into OpenStreetMap, it will already warn me that this polygon here does not have any tag before it ends up in OpenStreetMap and somebody tries to find it or sees it and it's not useful to them. So what am I trying to say here? First thing is that if you're contributing to OpenStreetMap, no matter whatever you add, you should remember that there needs to be a primary identification. What is this feature on the surface of the earth? That way, sometimes it's difficult or it's tricky to identify. That is how come some editors, so for example, I did here, I try to make this building in a better way. So at first I did some nitty-gritty clicking here. It's not really useful because I cannot see the edges. I mean, if you can clearly see the edges, then you can do that kind of nitty-gritty clicking. But this, it's already enough to digitize the footprint of this building. But more can be done. So when you right-click, you can choose a square. And then this is much more interesting, but it's not perfect. What is it on the ground? So you click on the tag and then you say, maybe this is what feature? Building, of course, is a basic one that comes. So I start searching for building. And you can see some suggestions already. And then when you click on the eye here, it tells you some information. In the beginning, I mentioned the OpenStreetMap wiki. So when you click on this, it shows that this is extensive, blah, 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 several things. In OpenStreetMap, there is a key and then the value. So the key is just a bigger collection. So sometimes you come across a key called highway. And then somebody asks, but this road is not a highway. This is a park. No. So the focus is that the value gives the nitty-gritty description information about this item, but the keys are a high-level class of all these items. So these are all the values that will qualify for the building key. In that regard, a generic or general purpose a value as is called building years if you cannot tell the purpose of the building. So going back, we select this, and then you can see that this has changed. The color or the appearance of it has changed. This has a primary tag now, which is the building. And in this editor here, you can just click the tags here and you see what is happening in the background. It's called building years. That is the tag. So if you click on, excuse me, if you click on this kind of character here, you see the key is just a text-based something that you can even type over here. And if you're done, you can click upload. When you click upload, there is a box that pops up. It's called the change set comment. Now, what does this change set comment do? This change set comment helps other contributors and yourself to know what you have done here. What did I do here? Okay, I just added one building. I could just say added building or add building. This is useful to both humans and yeah, machines because I mean I type a text here because OpenStreetMap is meant for both humans and the data in it can also be read by machines and manipulated by them. So if you put a change set comment here, it's good to put a human readable text. There is a good page on, maybe I click on this eye, about change set comment. Let's see. Yeah, about change set comments. And there is one which says, this says good change set comments. So over here already on the wiki, you can see that out of courtesy to your fellow mappers, of course, and to avoid misinterpretation or misunderstanding when you get a mistake, and then you can add for your memory, which I mentioned it for yourself, because I added a building or maybe I added a church. If I see this later, after 5 years, without even looking at what is within the change set, what is within what map, I could be able to come back here. So when I just click upload on this and upload it, you should see that this comment is added to the change set. So that's what happens when you see, for example, let's go to history here in OSM. I will not save this. And let's see what's happening. So this is in French. This is some other change set comments. So here, someone says, so the change set comment is what is appearing here, if you can see. So you can see here, there is one that says fix unusual or rare highway tag. Okay, and then there's a hashtag called map roulette, meaning that this is coming from a platform because I know that this is a platform. So, and this change set is really big, covering several places. Please don't do this. Just keep your change set boundary very small. I will not use this as an example. I go to a different one. This is a really small to a small geographic area. And what happened? Max speed, it says not English. So it says maximum speed something. But without even me understanding what this language is, I could tell that maximum speed was added, was changed here, or something happened here in relation to maximum speed. This is human readable and makes sense to other contributing OpenStreetMappers. And also here's another one where a change set was reverted and it's reverted by a troll. Good. Now, that's about using ID or getting introduced to OpenStreetMap, clicking and adding something. I go back to what I'm using as a reference. Good. It was organized mapping that I was going to speak about. So quickly, let's search about what is organized mapping in the first place. I hope maybe, oh, yeah, cool. So I search for organized mapping activities and you see OpenStreetMap wiki pops up because that is where it's of use. So let's say there is a guideline for organized editing. So when we talk about organized editing, I think I should go to this one here. Let's see. What is organized editing? Well, from this page, we can see that OpenStreetMap can be contributed to by anybody. It's a guideline. I'm trying to find out what's the specific quick definition, which we can all look at about what is organized editing. Um, 1 second. Okay, I can't find it. So what basically organized mapping or organized editing activities mean is that when a group of people or maybe company, institution come together to work on OpenStreetMap, or even you as an individual tries to do some kind of automated or mass changes or contribution to OpenStreetMap. This contributes somehow to organized editing. And according to the guidelines, it is useful to document your organized editing mapping activity. So you can see here on this wiki page, it says organized editing / activities. You can see a list of organize editing activities across the globe, the ones that have been documented, the ones that are added to OpenStreetMap. I will just pick a random one. Let's see. Which one should I pick? Okay, let's pick this one. Mapping tourism data. So this is in a different language. But it talks about mapping tourism data, who is the point of contact. Could be that this person is alone or it's a group of people and their plan, what they try to do, and etc. etc. Let's see what's happening. If there's any change set or something, I don't understand this, so I will stop looking at it. So, but over the past years, there have been a rise and extensive increase in organized groups or organized communities across the African continent, which is useful with OpenStreetMap and country-based, like OpenStreetMap in Ghana, OpenStreetMap in Togo, OpenStreetMap in Cameroon, Uganda, Kenya, etc. And likewise, there have been a growth of student contributors as well, or just newbie student contributors. Also, for example, youth mappers, which have chapters all over, and many more. But in OpenStreetMap, when organized mapping editing is coming from sources of multiple, the more contributions grow, the more problem we should also expect. So yeah, we have a lot of contributors who are trying to map with a lot of enthusiasm. But if the foundation or the basic things, for example, like primary attributes for features or primary tag for features don't get added by, let's say, a massive amount of people who are enthusiastic to make OpenStreetMap a better one with quality data, what happens? So if we want to map buildings in Yaoundé right now, and we all try to map, we map the buildings, but we don't add a tag for building yet and upload it to OpenStreetMap. It does not tell if this is a building, or if you add a change set comment, it does not tell you added buildings. Then it does not help yourself in the future. So quickly, this year, I have been trying to work on a small organized mapping activity. So this is not for company, but this is to clean up or fix problems in OpenStreetMap in Ghana. These problems coexist in several places. There's no doubt, but Ghana is where I know of one and I map. So this is in relation to roads. So I open this image, and then you see we have a context of this location. Good. If you look at this image clearly, you can see that these are roads, not a map. Yeah. And then looking at the image, the satellite image, you can see that there are roads that do not exist. And if I pick a bike or car and I drive to this area, or I want to drive here, you can probably tell that I'm going to get a very wrong direction. So in the end, this data is not useful, it's useless, and it does not help anybody. Even maybe the one who mapped it at the time cannot use this. So the endpoint, or what I'm trying to say is that if you want to contribute to OpenStreetMap massively, one thing you should be aware is the imagery, or when this image has been made. Of course, in the African continent, imagery is still, how do you call it, out of date in some places. That is the public one we have. But if you want to map items that goes beyond time, you should not put a lot of energy in mapping items from an old satellite image, because in the end, this is not useful to anybody, including yourself. So quickly, we will try some hands-on. We will look at, I have not gone to these places. Some of them I have idea about, but we will just look randomly in OpenStreetMap across Ghana and see what, okay? So there is a place, where is this? Okay, we can look in Zabzugu, which is a town, or maybe should I call a town or village? It should be between one of these classes in Ghana. So this is Zabzugu in OpenStreetMap. And from the OSM Kato rendering already, you can see that there are several roads. Amazing. This community is highly developed. You can imagine. All the engineers who masterminding the roads here have decided to make a lot of connectivity in this community. So let's verify for ourselves. So I load this into GeoSM. I love GeoSM. So I demonstrated ID first, but in this case, I will use GeoSM because there's much more flexibility to explore and validate what is in this data. So it's loading. Wait a bit. Okay, it's taking some time. I don't know why, but let's see. Okay, I will just continue talking, and when it is done, then we can proceed. So I come back here, I pull this up, and then I go back here. Yeah, after this, yeah, this is leading, flowing, I think so. When this loads, then we will look at some items there, and then we will talk about imagery offsets. We'll talk about importance of GPS traces, and then this will also come in at reusing existing objects. Then we can have some discussion and question and answer. So I think we still have some time. And if you have any question, please feel free to put in the chat or wherever you're watching from, you can type it in. I don't know why this took forever. So as it's loading, I will load in ID, and then we can start to explore. So this is ID, this card from the last time. Now, this community, I said, it's a village, yeah, it's a town. On Wikidata, if we look at what this is on Wikidata, can I see? I can see from here. So let's see on Wikidata and see what it is. So it's a Wikidata description here. We can also jump to Wikipedia. It takes this place. It's a small town. It's a small town. So it's a small town in the northern part of Ghana. Now, if we look closely at this, come on. So you should be careful when you are contributing to OpenStreetMap with ID, because when you don't zoom in well, some things are hidden. And if you click accidentally, you can see I just click accidentally and I drag a point by not knowing. So I just zoom in closely. Well, it should be noted also that some of these items here could have been mapped way back ago when those imageries were still in their recency. And also some of them could have been added after many years when the imagery is still very old. So this basis should be understood also. So this village here, as we can see, I will just look at the history of one of these spectacular roads, and let's see what's happening. Should I choose just one way random? Okay, I chose this one here. And then, okay, I think it has loaded now. So I look at the history. This was mapped 4 years ago. Beauty of OpenStreetMap is that the history is there, you can see. This was mapped 4 years ago, and it has a change set comment saying hot OSM task 280 youth mappers, and then added roads and buildings and changed road classification. Okay, this is 4 years ago, and this is in the version 1. So this means that this is the first edition of it. So we can see the changes and see which imagery was used, because the Bing were used. And 4 years ago, a lot might have changed on the ground. Interesting. So this year, because I have idea or I have seen this several times, tells you that this is coming from the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, incorporated tasking manager, which is so tasking manager. So let's look for tasking manager. What's OSM? See, what it should be the first one. So the tasking manager from humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, it's a project, it's a platform which allows you to set up a task or a project that you can have colleagues or friends and everybody help you to work on a small area without stepping on each other's toes. So we could just go to explore, for example, and then, yeah, see some projects were here. Okay, so interesting. There is one from Ghana here, which is agent, and it's in relation to some flooding occurring. So this is one example or one source of organized mapping, or by far I would say this is the most extensive one already in the OpenStreetMap community, where projects are set up and people contribute to it, or mappers contribute to it. And then in the end, there is some data. And this is, we can look at where this task is. I think I just downloaded. We will look at this one and see what's happening in this organized mapping. So my thing is loaded, good, in GeoSM. So we have this in GeoSM. I will just load the bin imagery. Bin to be here. Okay, so this, because here we can explore the history and every other things very quickly. Oh, well, this road here says it's a residential road. This is also a residential road. Well, from looking at this already, you might be asking me a question. I don't know which kind of question you might be asking, but I'm already asking myself if these roads are actually, or these ways here, are actually residential roads. So, point or action or an asterisk is that if you're contributing to OpenStreetMap, and mostly, I believe most of this has been done remotely, and coming from looking at the history, and this coming from an organized mapping activity from the hot tasking manager, this definitely was not physical. So, and this contributor probably might have no knowledge about what is it on the ground. So if you have no knowledge about something on the ground and contribute to OpenStreetMap, please do not assume, because when you assume, it could be otherwise not good. I mean, assumption here doesn't help. Looking at this road here, we can see that, okay, this road is going through some buildings here. I don't believe that there's a tunnel in this building that this road goes through. I mean, this space is very tiny, but, well, it could have been traced many years ago when there was no building there. So we cannot argue from 2020. So it's quite some time. The next thing I would like to talk about is GPS traces. So we all have several ways of contributing to OpenStreetMap. Maybe your goal or the aim, the reason why you contribute is that you want to help a disaster campaign, or you want to map so that you can use the map for a tourist map for your village. When I downloaded this data, I checked the box here in GeoSM, download raw GPS traces. And then you can see some pink or violet, maybe I'm not so sure about the color here in the map. So these are public GPS traces that somebody traveling or moving or walking around, get a GPS trace, and then upload it to OpenStreetMap. Uploading it to OpenStreetMap because it helps to solve some problems. Problems like if the imaging is very old and we cannot tell if there was a new road here. So there's a new road, but you cannot see it from the satellite image. And how do you do it? You can assume and trace. I mean, it should be like a black surface, just like this. But if you have a GPS trace, it will give you a general idea about where this road is going through. And one other thing is it helps with the imagery offset. So imagery offset is the next thing I would like to talk about. And in Ghana, over the years, I mean, sometimes you see some, where is it? No, not this one. I think it should be this one, yeah. So let's look at just a random one, which which is here. So this is by me, of course, from 1 year ago, and I put a fix me, which is a tag just for me to go back and say imagery match mismatch. So let's zoom into this area and see what's happening here. So if you look at this area, we put Bing imagery back in context, and then we download more data again, and then we download. So there is no GPS traces in this area, so you don't see the kind of violet line. Okay, so I will just turn into wire mode by pressing Ctrl W on the keyboard. Now, if you see here, if you look closely, you can see that the road is starting from, I just turn off the data again, then we can see clearly. The road is starting from somewhere else and coming all the way. And what is happening at this point here, because the image is not just like a camera goes up in the sky and take one picture. That's, is it? No, it's from several small pictures taken at different time stamps or time interval. And then in the layman term, it's stitched, sorry. It's stitched together. So a mosaic is created out of the several small photos. And then, it cannot always be perfect. We are all not perfect. There could be mistakes or there could be mismatches. So for example, this is a typical one that who are right. So a mismatch here is that this image here, I don't know which of them. If there was a GPS trace, then we could clearly see what is the trajectory of the road. If this image here is the one having the best offset or the best alignment with existing data or what is on the ground, or is this one? So in this case, if assuming that this one on the left-hand side is the one with the wrong offset, and I just, without knowing, well, I want to map, this is my village, and I want to map all the buildings here. And then I map all of them. And then at a point, the image got refreshed, and what happens? Then you see that the data is off the buildings, because these buildings definitely is not a point. A point also needs to align in some cases, in most cases, but the buildings, when you trace all of them now, and then after some years, then see that there is a refresh, then there is a problem. So, okay, even though this could be my village, then that requires that you go out there into your village, because your village maybe probably you have not visited. And you have some friends there. You could request them to maybe make a GPS trace for you. And with a GPS trace, then you are able to actively or, somehow better align the data to OpenStreetMap. We can also look at another one, for example. Which one else can we look at? I just come to Accra, let's see. In Accra here, there have been some offset problems. It says align with imagery. Which one is this? Let's see. What it is? Okay, this it's in version 4. We can see from the history. Okay, so someone added it, okay, from version 1. So let's edit. Probably maybe this was not there some years ago, but it's there now. Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned, Accra, it's a problem, or it's a zone where you will find several image offsets, and there are a lot of data which have very wrong offsets or have been just mapped because the imagery is what you see. So you can see here, for example, the default being, okay, it's shifting a lot. So if you see this, please don't just say, oh, it's not aligning. Then you start shifting every object. So in this case, I will just say, okay, this is not aligning. Then you start shifting every object to align. No. So if you are trying to map and you see that a lot of data in the area is not aligning with the imagery, the first thought will be, no, this was mapped wrongly. I need to align all of them. Then you start shifting every single object. No, this is not good for OpenStreetMap. You are trying to do good, but it's really not the first point to start from. So here I mentioned about GPS traces. So let's just download. I check the box raw GPS traces and see if some OpenStreetMap contributors or someone has collected GPS traces and they were kind enough to put it in OpenStreetMap, so it's public. So I turn on this layer and you can see, whoa, there's a lot of GPS traces across this area. So you can see that from just an estimate or looking at this, you can see that uh, the imagery sometimes looks like, okay, it's perfect, or sometimes looks like it's off. It takes a bit of exploration or exploratory observation to be able to find the best fit. So here, in this case, the question will be, what will I do? What will I be doing, probably? Okay, I get a GPS traces. I'm still not sure. There is a plugin or there is so when you go to Imagery, I don't know if this is GeoSM by default now. You can do I have a couple of them saved across Ghana, so you can see them here. Excuse me. Now with this imagery offset, you can just span. So this allows you to move the image. So you can see the image is moving now because there's a lot of data which is really off. So you cannot jump to a conclusion that all these contributors map at the same time and decided to map wrongly or at a wrong offset. So, I mean, you can try to position, maybe do it. But first, it could be also nice that maybe somebody has also tried to map some time ago and fall into this kind of problem. So you can explore the get imagery offset. So, and they have saved it. So if I click that, you can see that some mappers have actually looked. So here you can see Sami, and these are areas in Accra. So let's see, we tried the Kokomlemle one. So here, and you can see that this is looking much more friendly or reasonable compared to what we saw first. So I go back, I have one for reset, which is just the original one by default. You can see this, the building here, it's on this side. This land use grass is on this other side. And the road is supposed to be here, but the vector one, which is the OpenStreetMap is here. So I go back to imagery offset, and then I go to get imagery offset, and then I choose the first one here. And this is much more appealing or much more helpful. And with the GPS traces, I believe, someone was kind enough to do the exploration, adjust, and then try to save it. So after adjusting, you can also save the image preset. So you can do store, and then you can store it. But this, I have one already from another mapper. So I can also get again, let's try the other second one. This also shifted a bit. So you can see that in a small geographical area, there could be several mismatch and shifts. And then the offset probably for this small area might not work for the one on this side. So we go back to the point I put in this and then see which ones we can add. So I talk about the offsets now, the GPS trace. So GPS traces are very important. And if you need to record GPS traces yourself, you can look at the OSM wiki. There is a OSM tracker, which is a very lightweight application. If you use Android, so with your smartphone, you can already record GPS traces and upload directly into OpenStreetMap. Other applications that could also record OSM GPS traces could exist probably in your phone's smart store, or Osman or OSM and also has the feature to be able to record GPS traces. So if you install Osman and you go to the plugins, there's a OSM called or GPS trip recording plugin there, which could help you to record the traces and also directly upload to OpenStreetMap. And then when you upload to OpenStreetMap, they become available. So we can just go back again to OpenStreetMap here, and then let's just check GPS traces and see. You can see recently, so somebody just uploaded a GPS trace 40 minutes ago, so you can see global GPS. Some who could argue that, well, maybe open GPS traces are not useful these days. Kind of, it depends on which part of the world. In the case of Ghana or in the case of our continent, where the imagery or we don't have up-to-date or recent imagery, GPS traces are still very useful in several cases, fixing offsets, adding new roads that did not exist on the map yet, and etc. Where do we go now? Where do we stand now? No questions so far, so that's good. we quickly go back to something I want to see. I came from here. So if you want to be able to do organized mapping, or if you want to delete things that you find useful, useless, maybe they are not really useful. Maybe at the point the time they were mapped, they were useful, but as time has passed, they became useless. What do you do? Deleting objects in OpenStreetMap shouldn't be the first option if the object can be recycled. So what do I mean? Recycling, meaning that you are not deleting it, you are just reusing it to fix the item. So probably I will just find a random item somewhere I have idea about. So let's just search for a place called East Legon in Ghana and see what happens. So East Legon, here I go back to OpenStreetMap. There should be something that I noticed recently in East Legon. It should be on Lagos Avenue. Okay. So East Legon is a part in Accra where there are roads named after several African cities. So it's here. So I download this, and I said that anytime I download, I want the GPS trace, so you could see it downloading. So over here in East Legon, you can see that there is an offset. Even the GPS traces are here, and then the imagery is here. But this is because I had one already for somewhere, and I brought it here. So I reset, and by default, it's looking okay, good. So I don't need to change anything here. So there is an institute. So yeah, good, I found it is this one. So this here, is that this one or this one? Yeah, so this is a school. So is this entire area probably? Or the last time I checked, it was only this building here, which was the institute. But here, someone is trying to map, and then this is primary information, very good one. It says a building, school, and then this is the name of it. So if you are contributing to OpenStreetMap and naming features, it is good. What is names? The name might be on the signpost as block capital letters, but it is recommended to name features with title case. So the capital C here, so this should be Cornerstone International. Keyboard come here. Okay, so this should be Cornerstone International School instead of the block capital letters. Since I want to map the school now, the building is here, but I want to keep the history of the one who discovered this, who mapped it. So that's what I mean by recycling. So from recently, 2023. So what I do is, you need a plugin in GeoSM. I don't know if you could do this in ID, a plugin in GeoSM called Utils2 plugin. So we go here, UTIL2 plugin. GeoSM replace geometry. Let's see if my search engine works. So we go to the first one, and then in this page I do Control F and do replace geometry. So the shortcut is Control Shift G. So basically, replace geometry just substitute the geometry of one object for another and keep the node, the history of the object. I mean, it copies the ID from one to one and keep the history to that. So with that, I want to map the school now. So do I have any objects that I don't need to map? So I delete this just in case if there's anything that I did not want to upload accidentally. So I have this layer again. So now I want to map this. So I just take the node A, keyboard shortcut A. From the last time I checked, the school it's up to this side. Also, if you look clearly, probably the image is not so good. You can see a wall or something, but yeah, but maybe it could be likely that this wall is extending to the whole area. But I want to make it a school. If it's not extending, somebody, or I survey it again and then I extend it. Now I want to replace this. I could just move this here and then I'll drag the corner like this and do that. But what if it's a very long object? You don't want to do that. So I push this. I want to bring it back. There is a shortcut called purge. So to purge an item is that you remove it from here, without taking effect on the changes. So I press Control Shift P. It looks like it's deleted. It's gone, but it does not put it in delete mode. It's not deleted. So I download again, and you see it coming back here. So I select this one, and I press Control, and I select the new way, and I press Control Shift G. I think probably you could see my keystrokes if I put this, let's see, on the screen. Let's see. Yeah, good. So now you can see which key I'm pressing. So I select this one, and then I press Control, and I select this other one. And I press Control Shift G. So now you can see that the object here vanished. It moved things here, and when I press Control H on the keyboard to show the history, you should see, well, it was there some time ago, it is moved, and this is the one who changed it. So I need to fix it. It's not a building, so I need to fix the tag. This, I know that the tag for school is amenity, and it's amenity school. And then the name I would like to fix to small title case. So it's Cornerstone. Okay, I typed it once already, so it is cached, and there you go. But yeah, there was a building here, so now I can map this building as the new object. I mean, here. So this is the best way to reuse this item. So that's what I mean by recycling the object. Instead of just, oh, okay, I delete it, and then I now map the building all together. Or I delete that because I could see that the name is somewhere here. I reuse it instead of just adding a new one and deleting it from this. So now I can upload this to OpenStreetMap, and then in the change set comment, I mean, I can say reuse, or add school. Let's say just add school and slash reuse object somehow. Then I can upload to OpenStreetMap. And there you go. If I see it after many years, I know that this was already there, and you can see the history, what happened. This tag went away, comparing it to that one. And then now this became, you can see a new tag showing up here, amenity school. Or you could also use, when you click on the arrow here for a change set, you could see there are a couple of options. I'm not sure if you have ever explored this before, but you should explore this. I choose the OSM history viewer, which should open a link somewhere and open somewhere else. So I bring it here for our use, which I paste here, and then we see what's happening. Yeah, so if you look at this closely, you can see the history. Okay, from here, it was here. It's Cornerstone International. It was a building, had 5 nodes. And then what happened? It was moved. Something happened to it. So this is the second history. So when the person mapped it first, it was 5 nodes. And later, I think something happened. A name was added. And then the next time, that was today, it moved. So you can see that from this place, then that, okay, it was initially, this was the old location. So it moved from here to here, and now it's a school, and what has changed and what has been added. So this is just a one-off, and it's recycled. Now, we was talking about if you want to delete massively, and delete not being the only option. So this I would like to, or I want to, it's still a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do this. So that is how come if you are mapping, you should be conscious. You should know that if you will not be in the position to clean up or to monitor, continue to improve after many years, then okay, this is also another area. Oh, there might be a story here. You should be conscious or know about what you should map, because if you're going to map 5 years massively as part of your organization, or companies come and go, and you will not take care of it or monitor it, please don't do it, because it doesn't help anybody. Because this data in OpenStreetMap now, if you look at it, what can you use this for? Nothing, absolutely. When new imagery becomes available or things change, you cannot use it for anything, because this road here, you can see clearly, I did not forge this, or I did not go to map this and come to demonstrate it that this road was not there. That recent imagery, you can see clearly that these roads were not there, or they are not there, even if it's mapped from how many years? From 2018. So as at that time already, probably uh, some of these areas were developed already, were already there, but because the imagery was old, what was there was what you could have been able to map. So in order for me, or in order for you, if you also come into the situation like this, and you would like to clean up, you would like to map this now to match what is on the ground now. I mean, over here, uh, you will just probably start by deleting all of them, select, delete, and then trace all of them from scratch. I mean, some of them could be reused. It's where the recycling come into place. So you could map the new ones and then select the old one, select the new one, and do Control-Shift-G. It takes time. It takes a lot of time in order to even to do a small area like this, or to clean up a small area like this. And that is where you have to sometimes delete massively and replace some. So if you're going to delete a large amount of objects, you should be able to document it, or you should inform the local community about, okay, I have seen this here. I believe is this. Somebody could comment that no, this is not so you should not delete it. So what I did was to start a page on the OSM Wiki, which is a place we can document our activities. It has been stored because this is something I do in my volunteer time, free time, as contributing or improving OpenStreetMap. So what did I do? I notified the mailing list in Ghana because with the mailing list, somebody could find it later about what I want to do. You can see there are a lot of to-dos over there. And I don't know how long this will still be in OpenStreetMap, and how long it will take for this to be clean, because one person cannot do this. Because it didn't take one person to map this big area, or a lot of buildings, or a lot of roads in a specific area. So it should take a lot of hands probably to also fix this kind of problems. So I demonstrate the recycling of objects, which is Control-Shift-G to replace the object, and also to delete. So at a point in time, delete works, but you recycle object, and you can see I recycled one in real time. For example, this will also be recycled. Instead of, I can just put here and then start from here, and then trace. This road, it's require maybe just a couple of nodes, not so much, to terminate. Sometimes we map and then we add a lot of nodes. Could be simplified, because this, for example, I just create a new layer. If you are new, you might be doing like this, a very tiny node. Well, it works, but I recommend that just to keep the geometry as simple as possible. So this I will go for, and I recycled it. So now recycling it, you could see that objects will be deleted, and then will be reused, or some will be used because there were so many nodes. If I press Ctrl-H and you go to history and you click on the nodes here, you can see it was able to use how many of them? 6 out of the 7 initial one that were there. So well, pretty good. So the deletion rate for now has reduced to just one node. But yeah, mind you, I said it takes a lot of time in order to accomplish this. There is also one that I would like to demonstrate, is that sometimes it's not always that obvious. Okay, let's see if there are some GPS traces here. This image looks good and aligned, but there are no GPS traces here. So sometimes it's not obvious and straightforward that you just jump to deletion. That is why we have a change set comment. So I will just, what do I do? What do I want to do? I'll go back to OpenStreetMap here. I think there's somewhere. Come on, too many tabs. I need to close some of them. Okay, I will start closing. I will close multiple of them, and then we can have a clean looking browser. I think this will also go away. This we can stay here. So when you see a change set and you're logging, there's a box here for change set discussions. So you can write the mapper who mapped that, okay, where did you map this? Because sometimes I've seen roads that are not supposed to be one way or features that are not connected, but somebody from afar, because maybe they have the best decision or assumption that that will be better for people to plow or not. Well, I can just jump and delete, or you can just jump and delete or remove. It's a community, so it's good to have a discussion. So this change box here, you leave a message in it, you get an email. So if you're contributing to OpenStreetMap, you should also have an active email. I'm sure you cannot create an account without an email, if I'm not mistaken. And monitor it, because somebody leaves a comment, you get an email, because several comments go without being responded to. And it's good that if you leave a comment, somebody can respond. This way you can explain what you did to the other mapper. Maybe it's you were right, but maybe the other contributor had a confusion, so you could clarify that. So with that, I would just want to demonstrate one of them. I think there is a village or a small island in Ghana. Is that the name? I think it's this one. Well, let's see. Okay, yeah, we can find it here in the Volta region of Ghana. So if you look here, you can already see that there are buildings in the ocean, it's in the sea, and then this is land. At first thought, you will be wondering, or might jump to a conclusion that, why is this person mapping in the sea? So let's look at what's happening here in GeoSM. Yeah, it's obvious. We can see that there are buildings in the sea, of course, no doubt. But if you look at the imagery also, you can see that there is a trend that, for example, this year, it's looking real that there used to be a building here or something happened to this. So when I first came across this, some years, maybe 2 years ago or 1 year, let's see, probably this one. Let's, okay, there is, you can see here from the GeoSM that if there is a comment on the change set, so I click this Control H, if there is a comment on the change set, it shows some, excuse me, it shows a bubble here, which tells you what is that. So I can close this one and we see. So in 2020, I made a comment about this, and then the mapper did not respond. And then I came back in 2023, early 2023, to ask a comment again, and there was no response. Maybe this mapper is no longer active or no longer contributing, or maybe has stopped contributing to OpenStreetMap or lost access to the account, so they don't get the email that comes. But I cannot just jump to a conclusion to delete this object here, because this mapper is not new. I've mapped, made very good contributions in OpenStreetMap in Ghana, and I know about this mapper too. So I'd reach out to the mapper personally. Well, the mapper said, okay, he or she could not remember. She could not remember at the time that, what happened here? But the change set comment was useful enough to say that this is from a project that was about a coastal map or maybe coastal resilience, and added a building or something. So what did I do? I decided to go on a research to find out what was here. And as maybe you might be guessing or can imagine, there used to be a settlement here. Even as at back at maybe just 2012, there's a settlement. There used to be a settlement here. But as you can see now, this settlement no longer exists due to changing things or how the world is changing very fast. So if I had jumped to a conclusion and deleted these objects, then I have deleted objects that we can find a better use for. So well, I'm still thinking, or I'm still, if you have a better idea about how to better conserve this. Maybe there's a tag. Of course, there should be a tag about rain, or maybe, I don't know, something that should be reused on this object. Because if you look at time series satellite images, maybe 10, 14, 15 years back, you should see that there was a very active settlement here, which gone away. And in order for me to better also explore, when I was downloading the data, I tried to see, okay, are GPS traces here? So why GPS traces are useful and very important that if you are contributing, we're talking of this at the State of the Map conference in Africa. So definitely you have interest in Africa, you want to share what you do. If you're moving around and you have the means to use your smartphone, if you're on holiday, you're just riding, you're driving, please make it a point to, if you don't do already, to start collecting GPS traces. They really help a lot. So you can see that from these GPS traces, by a kind OpenStreetMap contributor, or they are using OpenStreetMap, decided to make the GPS traces publicly accessible. You can see that there have been maybe this a cruise ship or some boats moving around. But if you're saving the GPS traces to OpenStreetMap, you mostly add a description. So I will delete, maybe there are many of them, so I download again, and let's see. I want to find out which GPS traces are in this area. So if it is publicly available and you download, you can right click on the GPS layer and do info. And it should be here. Oh, okay, it doesn't show. It should be able to show that I go again, I do info. Okay, so why this? So because the map are only choose, I think I should say that before we go. So I go to traces, and I can just use my own GPS traces as an example. Let's see, GPS traces. I record a couple of them when it's possible to me to record. So when we go here, and I just try to edit this trace, when you're uploading a GPS trace to OpenStreetMap, there are options for the visibility. So this is what I think I actually was looking for. Good. So visibility of GPS traces, there are 4 of them. There's identifiable, public, trackable, and then private. And now you can see the one on top is the one with most green. That tells you a green light already. And then the one private means it's your person. There's a description about all of them here. But this person likely uploaded the GPS traces. Notwithstanding, it's still useful. So if it's, I think it's one of them. Which one was that? If it is, is it trackable or public? I'm not so sure, but it's one of them, not identifiable. Because if it were identifiable, then you will see the geometry as a line, the dots connected. So here you can only see the dots. But if I could go do a bit of digging, probably find the trace and the description. So for example, like how with this my trace, I have like some tags or some description that this is from Accra to Tamamoto way to Hoe, Vaiho, something, some description. Then that could have helped a bit that, okay, this was on a ship, on a cruise, something via an island. So you can see that initially, if this was not here, like the village was not here, probably my assumption is that this GPS trace of the ship or the boat, the yacht, whichever, will have been closer to the coastline. So these GPS traces already give me or give you an idea about what used to be here and what is no longer here. So change set comments and discussions really helps rather than just putting some maybe some codes in the change set comment that any other mapper doesn't really understand or cannot make much sense out of in that regard. Speaking for a while alone, if anybody has any question or any idea or any suggestion or any comments or anything to add about yeah, this discussion or the workshop, let's say this exploration or this things I'm talking about, please feel free to leave a comment. Okay, so what else can we look at? So we've looked at the GPS traces, we've looked at good change set comment, we've looked at naming. We can also look at geotagged photos. I mean, if you collect GPS traces, then probably you could also collect geotag photos, because we are saying, how do we map? I mean, how do we map? So this is one way to also map. So if you look at the OpenStreetMap wiki, there should be photo mapping, a page on the OpenStreetMap wiki. So if you want to find something on OSM wiki, you can just type the keyword and put OSM wiki at the end in your favorite search engine, and there should be some link, maybe probably the first one. So this might be a bit long, but yeah, GeoSM understands how to put geotag photos, or how to display them. So you have a photo that you take with your smartphone. I'm sure most of us generally should have a smartphone, or we have some kind of smartphone. And when you take pictures with your phone, and you go into you look at the picture's properties, your smartphone is telling you that you took this picture near, how do you call it? You took this picture near a certain road. Is that not it? That tells, if you see that information already, that tells you the photo is geotagged. And if you're traveling in the car quickly, you saw a new shop or a school pop up by the roadside, or you see a street sign, and you want to map it, but maybe you don't have the time to stop, you can just pop up your phone, take a picture of that sign, and when you get home, you can drag it and put it in GeoSM, and the location when you took that picture should rightly be there in your GeoSM. Well, we take pictures, but some of the pictures maybe you don't want to put anywhere, but some of them, they are good to the public, and you want to put them on a platform which is open and reusable. So for example, Wikimedia Commons, we should know about Wikipedia by now. Wikimedia Commons is a media repository from the Wikimedia Foundation, which can be used by everybody. And files here, so it's a collection of freely usable. So over here, you can see already this is 100 million as of now. And you can contribute and reuse it. And these are some photos, very high quality photos. They are media, video, audio, etc. Some photos, for example, like maybe street signs for documentation purpose, or etc. So we can just say, I can just search for Ghana streets, probably. Let's see if I find something useful. I just search. And then, let's see. Okay, it's a road sign, more details. Let's see. Okay, this was taken, doesn't have a geolocation information. So if you take photos, for example, like this, and you have the location tagging on it, you could upload them to Wikimedia Commons. Not only street photos, but Wikimedia Commons contains photos that illustrate items on Wikipedia or Wikimedia projects. You can reuse photos from Wikimedia Commons, also in the OpenStreetMap wiki as well. Quickly, we jump back to GeoSM. I mentioned Wikimedia Commons, because if you have the photos in Wikimedia Commons, you have the opportunity to reuse them anywhere, because they are licensed in Creative Commons licenses that allows you to reuse the data in several folds. So we just quickly will focus in Accra, where I believe, or we can look at this bridge in Ghana was in the news recently. So I can just download the data here. So if you have too big, okay, in the background, we just zoom in again, download, and then I will go back here and then do a smaller box and then download. So you see, this bridge is here. There are GPS traces, good, could help also for offset problems. Now, when you have the plugin Wikipedia or Wiki, one of them installed, and you go to the file menu, somebody's trying to speak. Can you please mute yourself, please? We go to the menu here, the file menu. You see there is an option for load images from Wikimedia Commons. Yeah, there are other platforms where you can find street level photos and use. That is also useful, but for one-time photos, what happens to them? You don't want to be able to, or maybe you don't have the luxury to take a continuous street level photos for 1 hour across, but there are specific photos you can take, and then they are still useful to add it. So I just loaded photos from Wikimedia Commons, and you can already see some dots or some camera icons. We can try from here. Let's click on this one. It's loading. Good. So you can see that likely this could be that the photo is taken from this point, or the geotag was added to this photo. But this photo is coming from Wikimedia Commons. You can see over here. Okay, if it's here, this is not the exact location because okay, this is in the river. You can see, but I mean, is it from here? Is the person stand here? No. Let's look at another one. I'm sure I have a photo from here from many years. This probably I could accept that it's from the road and looking on the other side of the river. Let's see this one. Okay, this I could also accept because of GNSS satellite. Maybe something is blocking the reception of the good receiving of how precise the location is. Let's see this one. This one shows what? This also shows on the other side of the road, but I just want to show one that maybe has a good. So this is here. This I believe was taken by myself, if I'm not mistaken. And this is leading to the entry of this bridge. And you can see the bridge name is boldly written here. So if you look at the OpenStreetMap object, you can see that, yeah, now I am home. Maybe I didn't see clearly the road, the street name, or the bridge name, or also maybe probably I could also use the lane markings here leading to the bridge. You can see that yeah, the surface is paved. This is asphalt, and you could also add that information to OpenStreetMap. Let me see. Okay, it's here, but the surface is not there. So right away, I could add that. Yeah, the surface is not on all of them. Okay, it's on the bridge, but leading to the bridge, there is no surface. So I could add that, and I can say surface asphalt. Yeah, it auto-complete, and then yeah, I can upload added road surface. And already you can see that the reference or the source is coming from Bing. Of course, the image is there in context, and then the surface tag is coming from the geotag photo I am using here. Or, I mean, to be precise, we could also specify Wikimedia Commons. So, say add the surface. Just add the surface and upload. So now this road. I hope I did not upload. How do you call it? Many other things, all in that for the roads. So I think the time is fast spent. We should have maybe just 14 to 12 minutes to wrap up, and you can already start asking questions if you have any questions. But to conclude, yes, OpenStreetMap is open to everybody. Everyone is free to contribute to OpenStreetMap in whatever way they want. But if you want to be able to reuse the OpenStreetMap data, maybe you are not reusing the OpenStreetMap data, that is where you don't come into contact with these problems or these kind of issues that, well, a road is there, but the road is not there. So what do you do? If I need to use the data for planning for, what is this? Can I go back again? It doesn't go back. Okay. I will actually go to this one. This one again, back. No, not this back again. I can just go back to Zapzugo. No. Okay, that's it. I cannot find it. I lost it. I think when it's getting to time and you start, nobody's responding, then the conversations become a bit boring. But yeah, we can conclude on a much more interesting note. So the goal or the reason to conclude here now is that if you're contributing to OpenStreetMap, you should always be mindful, take responsibility, and be aware that if you add any object, this object needs a primary tag. It needs to what it is and what is this item on the surface of the earth before any other thing else. I mean, you could just add a name. Some points in OpenStreetMap just have names. You should be aware that if the data is shifted, it doesn't mean that uh, many people decided to just off-map items on OpenStreetMap. Could be that the imagery has an offset, and this is something you should be aware of, and then it can be fixed from both edited. In ID, it can be adjusted. Also, but in GeoSM, we have this useful item of imagery offset DB that you can use. I would like to show somewhere in Accra, which also has a very horrible offset issue, which is in Joe here. Yeah. And you should record GPS traces. It helps yourself, help other OpenStreetMap contributors. So if you record GPS traces and you don't have the idea or you're not able to align the imagery, somebody finding these GPS traces. So yeah, this is what I was talking about, because these GPS traces are identifiable. You could see them in the geometry as a line, but you see tiny dots, the tiny dots because they are not identifiable. And if there is an offset, explore the GPS traces, try to go to imagery, maybe get imagery offset. Somebody might have said something, you know. Okay, this already, the first one I chose here, it's becoming more reasonable than what I was seeing initially. And then I can try the second one, maybe around Tesano. Also much, but you need to get it right before you massively add data into OpenStreetMap. Before you massively. And if you're mapping objects, I mean, objects need to be nitty-gritty, precise, but just focus on the geometry as possible. So for example, this road here, there could be several nodes in between here, but it really doesn't help that much. So just, yeah, straight. For example, this building here, I believe was mapped based on the initial wrong imagery offset, which it's no fault of the mapper. But if this is coming from an organized mapping campaign, then it is the responsibility of you, the project mapper, or the one, the project leader, or the one creating this kind of organized mapping, to explore and know about this and inform your contributors that, please, there is an imagery offset here. Be mindful, don't just map or don't move existing objects, assuming that you are doing the right thing or you are helping. Everybody tries to help, but if we don't know the foundations or the basis, or we forget about the things that make the data useful in order to help, then it implies we helping nobody, including ourselves. Yeah. Think and yeah, you can take photos, one-time photos for item. Maybe probably you just want to map house numbers. You can go around, take the photos of these house numbers, put them into GeoSM, and then you can find these points here. Let's see if there are any images from Accra in this part from Wikimedia Commons. I see nothing here now, so there are no images from Wikimedia Commons in this part of Accra. Yeah, so and yeah, have fun, teach other people about OpenStreetMap best practices, use good change set comments, discuss before deleting, recycle objects. Don't just jump and delete. And if you are going to delete massively, inform the local community, write to the mailing list, or create a page on the OSM wiki that if somebody sees your deletions or what you're doing, there is a good starting point to already know what you are doing. So I think we've gone by the hour already a lot. I'm sure, or I hope that this session was inspiring or useful enough to inform your future mappings and your future organized campaigns and what you map to OpenStreetMap or what you contribute. and then also leading to reusing OpenStreetMap. You see that if the data doesn't make sense, you cannot reuse it. So I think that's all I can say for now. And thank you very much for joining and pay attention. We can have questions now, Walter, from the participants. And before anything, yeah, if anything comes up before the time goes out, we can resolve it.
Thank you, Enoch, for the awesome presentation. I think I've enjoyed it. I've been following through. Before anyone else asks a question, I think I have two questions. Since in your presentation, you really, I will still look at the aspect of data accuracy that you've really brought out. But now I have the first question goes, what is the minimum significant geometric error that we should expect when it comes to offsets? Because whether you are basically, we don't have an accurate, with zero offsets to say for a geometric value. Let's say you're mapping a node. At one point in time, what could be the minimum or acceptable error of accuracy in the terms of geometry for that feature? What is the working error that we can, we say is considerable? Because when we are looking at, mostly we're mapping nodes or points of interest, accuracy plays a very big role. And in this case, if you're mapping an urban place, you're most likely to not to find scarce features. Features are really close to each other, let's say buildings. What is the minimum? How do you, when you're transferring the history of a node from one to the other, how are you sure that the history of this node, the information contains in this previous node I'm transferring to this building, should have a similar? What is the guess? What is the guess that tells you, okay, I think this value, this the tags contained in this feature can be transferred to this new feature without necessarily compromising the entire accuracy of the data? And the last question is, of course, issues of temporal accuracy. Over time, things change. When you're transferring and you're not using a drone image, you're most likely probably to get features which don't exist anymore, or you're going to find features. I mean, it's a very thin line, but will you share some more light on it?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Accuracy, yeah, it's a big question and a big problem. I said, if you're a geometrician or you're somebody who deals with high precision location data, then you might not even fall in love. But I'm not saying generally, because I've also encountered persons or professionals, who use high precisions, like OpenStreetMap. OpenStreetMap is not a high precision platform, but yeah, of course, you can use high precision tools to collect high precision coordinates to put in OpenStreetMap. Of course, our smartphones already have a very big, maybe it's to 3 meters or 5 meters accuracy. For positional accuracy, we are all referencing or using the satellite image or using intuition. But if you are going to do this at a large scale, so I mean, let's say for house numbers, if I put a house number, for example, in this case, these house numbers here at the point where maybe probably it was placed gives you an idea in order to get there or to represent the data. Is better than nothing. So, but if you're going to deal with polygons, a point, of course, all of them, I mean, at a very massive scale. And if the positional accuracy it can never be perfect, it can never be perfect, absolutely. But if this road was supposed to be passing through these buildings on this side from this imagery, then clearly there's a big problem. In urban areas where items are clumped, of course, in OpenStreetMap, you have one building with several items. If it's a building with levels, then you use the indoor mapping, like the level, and then try to put it close by each other and that kind of thing. But in this presentation, in this exposure or this exploration, I didn't really focus on that because I don't do that, or I am not working on, how do you put it? I don't know how to put it. It's not about that accuracy, or it's not about that tiny nitty-gritty centimeter accuracy. No, we don't do centimeter accuracy. Yeah, probably if you have the option or the tools to do it, you can do, because we are all relying on public variable GNSS, for example, satellite images, which have several issues. So if we are going to map, it's just good to be aware of these basic things like offsets. Uh, and if you're going to do it on a massive scale, temporal accuracy, it's like the imagery is old. If the imagery is old, then we'll map several buildings or several rows from an old imagery. I mean, something is better than nothing, but if you can see that this imagery is very old, probably there are new development already. Some of them are gone. If you see some of the pictures I showed you, some of them, it could even be that these are not, I mean, mapping and saying that, okay, this is a part, this is a secondary road is still a problem, because you cannot determine that in which case. But if for a small village, you don't expect some of the items I didn't show here or didn't describe, you don't expect to see a kind of classification of road like a motorway in a village. But these are some of the things that you come across sometimes. I am speaking based on experience and based on what I have seen and deleted and fixed and discussed in OpenStreetMap in Ghana. I don't know how it could be the case in your country, but in OpenStreetMap in Ghana. And overlap. So the basic things like several buildings mapped in one. So, okay, this building is mapped like 4 times by 4 different people. These are kind of things that arise when we don't clarify, or several buildings mapped, but they don't have a tag that they are building. So for positional, temporal accuracy, these are all topics, I mean, for everybody to have some idea about, but in OpenStreetMap, I'm not sure we do that kind of centimeter accuracy that, okay, it should be 5 coordinates level or that kind of stuff, but it could be done. I'm not saying it will, probably maybe it has been done, but I am the one who haven't done that kind of, I am not a geomatician, so I don't use RTK drones, RTK GNS receivers to collect these GPS traces. These GPS traces, you can see most of them have been collected by smartphones, which already have problems on their own already and cannot be that. But it gives us an idea about what the road is and when it's passing. If these GPS traces were passing through here, then we have the option to question that this satellite image is really off. But if random GPS traces by default, it's here. See, I mean, even the smartphone from 3 different people or 4 people cannot lie so much, but it gives us the option to be able to improve and have a good data that we can reuse. In that extent, then we cannot reuse the data at all. I think the time is fast spent, and I will pause here. We can have a further discussion about this. And I mean, the mailing list is there. These are discussions which we'll be having in OSM channels, and I will be happy that you carry this up in the OSM forum or mailing list, and then we can learn and share and have a better idea about what this is and how we all could learn from it. Thank you. If you're trying to speak, your microphone is muted. Okay.
No, I'm not actually trying to speak. Thank you for the response.
No, I think we have used the time completely now.
Okay.
Yeah, or you are the moderator. I also keep an eye on the watch. So
Okay.
if you still
So,
have some time, no problem.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, and thank you for everyone who tuned in, for those who joined the Zoom call and those who are watching from YouTube. Hope to see you in the next sessions, and again, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You have a nice day. Bye.